The first angel came to sound the first trumpet. Here we go, verse 7. The first angel sounded, and hail and fire followed, mingled with blood, and they were thrown to the earth, and a third of the trees were burnt up, and all green grass was burnt up. Today we're going to be focusing on 4 trumpets, but the first 3 trumpets you will see, and a third, and a third, and a third mentioned in the first 3 trumpets. It is not mentioned in the other trumpets, but in the first 3 trumpets out of the 7, you will see this, and a third, and a third, and a third mentioned in these trumpets. Now these first 3 trumpets are representing here the 3 continents that were the main continents from the very beginning: Asia, Africa, and Europe. Now please pay attention. Asia, Africa, and Europe. These were the main continents from the very beginning, where I take you back to the time of Noah. Noah had 3 sons. These 3 sons, to each he gave a continent. To each son he gave a continent. To Shem he gave Asia. He gave Asia. To Ham he gave Africa. To Japheth he gave Europe. To Shem, to Africa, he gave earthly treasure. To Shem he gave heavenly treasure. To Japheth, Europe, he gave wisdom, brain, intellect. That's why Europe will always control the East. Yes? They're the brain. But the brain is a problem. When it's used alone, it's a huge problem. Now, these first 3 trumpets is focused on Europe. The first 3 trumpets, out of the 3 continents, it is focused on one continent only, and that is the continent of Europe. Because at one stage, Europe was divided into 3 parts. The east of Europe and centered in Germany, or the center of the Eastern Europe was Germany. The middle of Europe, Great Britain and France. The west of Europe, Rome, Italy. Bit of a controversial topic this evening, but no hard feelings, my beloveds. Far from it, we are not judging. It is not my job at all to judge. I'm just stating facts. And you can read it for your own self and find out. So the east of Europe, Germany. The center of Europe, Great Britain and France. West of Europe, Rome, Italy. The 3 trumpets are focused on Europe, east, center, and west of Europe. Now the first, Europe, my beloveds, is the Roman Empire. Europe is the Roman Empire, and it's still alive. You see, when you read in the book of Daniel, Nebuchadnezzar saw this dream, this big statue. The head was gold, the chest and the shoulders was brown, the hip was bronze, but the feet of it was made out of iron and clay. Now, how many toes are on both feet? 10 toes. Now, when the Roman Empire fell, it got divided into 10 nations, which later on became known as the European nations. Now, if you don't know this, Europe, and they brought their own currency, they removed all the borders, but they've got problems. Later on, other countries came into the European nations. It's more than 10, but initially it began with 10 and then increased. The issue is those feet which Nebuchadnezzar, the Babylonian king, saw in his dream, which Daniel explained the dream to him, those feet that were made out of iron and clay was the Roman Empire. And then in the dream, Nebuchadnezzar saw this stone or rock cut without a hand. That rock that was cut without a hand, that rock is Christ. Cut without a hand, meaning or speaking of his virginal birth. He was born with a virginal birth, no earthly father, by the power of the Holy Spirit. Cut without a hand, born without an earthly father. So that rock is Jesus Christ. When he was born, he came and he smashed that statue. And that statue is all about the empires that preceded the coming of the Messiah. The Messiah was born at the time of the last empire in that statue, which was the feet of iron and clay, and that is the Roman Empire. The Lord was born at the time of the Roman Empire. So now, when the rock hit the feet, it decimated the entire statue, the entire empires. And the book of Daniel says, and that rock became a great mountain that covered the whole world. And then a voice was heard, all the kingdoms of the earth are now of Christ, of the Lord, and of Christ. All the kingdoms of the world belong to Christ. In the second coming, Jesus Christ will conquer every empire and every ruler, and every knee will bow and every tongue will confess Jesus Christ as the King of Kings and Lord of Lords, the only true divine God ever to be. Now, why the European nations till this very day are not united? Great Britain, in fact, they tried to exit Brexit. They tried to exit the European nations, and it was a struggle till this very day. Why? Because the feet were of clay and iron. Clay and iron never bond together, my beloveds. You can't stick them together. Clay can't be glued on iron. So the nations are not united as yet. But you see what happens. Just like at the first coming of the Messiah, the Roman Empire crucified the Lord. In the second coming, the Roman Empire will go against the Lord once again.